Hey, I'm Mike, and this is the weekly recap for the week of September 10th to the 16th. This week I spent a lot of time in Delves. My warrior started off at a 585.68 item level and is ending the week at 596.5, so a 10.82 item level increase there. The first couple days I was soloing Delves and I got to about tier 6 before I started to notice a challenge. And then tier 7 I barely got done, same with tier 8, the one that I did I barely survived. The only reason I did is because I saw a Reddit post that said to put Bran as DPS and then put up some specific abilities, and then he can do most of the work, which I found that did work. I was able to pull stuff, run away, he got aggro, he killed him, and then I got that Delve done. But I was having a really tough time soloing tier 8s and everyone else seemed to be doing it with ease, and I was just really confused and a little bit frustrated, to be honest. And then the next day I went in to do my 4 bountiful Delves with a group of 2 other players, and it was just so much easier. We blew through those tier 8s as if they were tier 1s. It was very easy and not at all a challenge, which I actually enjoyed. And then I believe it was later that night that Blizzard had made the change that made group Delves harder. And then throughout the next few days, they just kept making changes to Delves that seemingly made groups harder and then solo harder and then both of them hard. At the moment, I don't really know what the general state of Delves is supposed to be. I'm kind of confused as to where all the updates went. There's been a lot of undocumented changes and then documented changes, and I don't know specifically what Delves are supposed to be like. The last Delves I ran were on Sunday nights, and they seemed pretty easy. Bran was still doing a bunch of DPS. Soloing was much easier for me. There are still certain Delves, though, and certain packs and specific bosses that are just so hard to deal with at tier 8, though. Like, for example, some of the bosses have a ticking raid-wide AoE that just does so much damage. So some of those bosses are rough. Some of the trash packs, like I was saying, are also very frustrating as well. It's kind of annoying having web bolts that are just spammed at you that deal, I think it's like 1.5 million health. And I can spell reflect one, interrupt another, and then it just continues to spam. And there's some trash packs that just have that plus that Curse of Agony or whatever, then like another rend dot, and it just, there's so much damage. I think that the damage output from mobs needs to be scaled down a little bit, I think. So overall, I was enjoying myself more this week with Delves than I thought I would. But I think part of that is because I was focusing on getting achievements and I was getting a lot of them, and then pretty much everything that I was getting at the end of them was an upgrade. I'm trying to keep in mind that I have a few months of this season left to go. I don't need to have all of the Delve stuff done like this week. So I've been finding that whenever I do get frustrated, I just stop, I leave the Delve, I go do something else and come back another time at a lower difficulty even, and just try not to bash my head against the wall trying to get something done that I don't need to again this week, and I just wait for gear upgrades to come. It seems like Delve changes are still ongoing, so the difficulty will likely change at least once this week, but I'm not as down on Delves as I thought I would be after the first week of them unlocking fully. And also, side note, Delve chat is just bizarre. I'm really glad that Blizzard made it a Delve-wide chat and not specific Delve chat, like for example the Fungal Volley chat or the Skittering Breach chat. It's just all Delves have their own general chat because it's just really funny and weird sometimes reading some of the stuff people say in there. Like at any point in the day, you will walk into Delves and you have no idea what you're in store for in general chat. For Mythic Dungeons, I was going to do more, but I actually just got sidetracked with all the Delves I was doing, so I only did one Mythic Dungeon, and even then I didn't finish it. I just did the first boss of Dawnbreaker. My group wiped on that twice and then disbanded, so that was fun. I'm hoping this week to get at least the 4 War Within Mythics done. It'd be nice if I could do them on Mythic Plus, but at the very least just on Mythic for the achievements. Speaking of the new content, the raid opened up last week and my guild went in on normal. They also went in on heroic, I just wasn't in for that. So I was able to get down all of the bosses on normal. I think the raid left a good first impression for me. It seemed pretty easy. It looks okay. The fights are decent. Sikran kind of reminds me and has that vibe of Nighthold from Legion. Rosh Hashan is a fun fight in Dawnbreaker, and I really enjoyed it in the raid as well. I really like this boss, and I would probably rank this near the top of the list in terms of my favorite. Blood Twister is a fight where I know the mechanics, but I'm still a little confused on how they really work. But that picture of like the 17 different zones in the room, you want to get these eggs first and then this group of eggs, like why? So that I'm not really sure about, so I'm hoping to kind of get some more clarity on that this week. Silken Court is just hilariously chaotic. There's so much going on and so much to keep track of. I don't know if I love that fight or hate it. This fight seems like it's going to be an absolute butthole on Mythic, so I'm really excited to see what that looks like. I went to an arcade with my friends this past weekend and I tried Dance Dance Revolution for the first time. And for both Dance Dance and Silken Court, my brain could not process fast enough everything that was happening. I was just hitting buttons and hoping for the best. Queen Ansarek, the last boss, is a pretty good one. I think the knockup mechanic is pretty cool and I really liked how the intermission phase was handled. I'm looking forward to seeing that fight on Heroic and seeing my guild do it on Mythic. I think that'll be a very fun fight and that might kind of slot near the top of my rankings in terms of favorite fights once I see it on Heroic/Mythic. For mounts this week, I started off by getting the Dauntless Imperial Lynx from the Lamplighter Supply Satchel. I think this is a really nice looking mount. It's very cute. I love cats. I don't think it's better than the tigers for Night Elves, but it's still a very nice looking mount. This was a little bit of a pain to get, and I'm glad that I got this before I got to max renown with Hollowfall, because those weekly quests are just brutal and very tedious to do. And once I get to renown 25 and get any achievement related to that, I am never going back there. And then the second and final mount that I got was the Ochre Dream Talon. This is from a month-long quest in the Emerald Dream back in Dragonflight. I think I have like 4 Dragonflight mounts left, so hopefully one day complete that whole section. For achievements this week, it was another good one. I started the week off at 40,500 points, and I'm ending it at 40,885, so a difference of 385 points. I'm well on my way onto 41k. I think getting up to at least 41k will be relatively quick and easy with the stuff that I have left. I think that push into 42k will be a little bit difficult after that point, and then for sure anything past 42k I think is going to be challenging. So because I spent the majority of my time this week in Delves, many of my achievements are related to them. I picked up the last treasure that I needed that got me the Delve Treasures achievement. I completed all the story variations on the Delves, so I completed the Lore Master achievement for that. I was able to get up to a tier 9 delve done, so only 2 more achievements left to do in terms of the difficulty, so that's nice. I got many of the other Glory of the Delver achievements completed. Right now, the only thing I'm missing is to kill Zekfir and the Spore one, to not get hit by the Spore Blast or whatever. And then just some other miscellaneous achievements. I finished up the Life on the Farm achievement because they fixed the Lost Diary quest. That one's not too bad, it just requires some grinding and farming some treasures in Hollowfall. And then the other noteworthy achievement was Flameguard's Hope, which is just to help out some dude in Hollowfall for 20 days. I just parked my shaman in that little hut, logged in once a day, put a heal on those guys, and then logged off. For stuff I'll be working on, like I said, I'm going to try to get the Mythic Dungeon achievements done, continuing to work on more Delve achievements. I'd like to get to the 100 Delves completed this week, if not next week, so I'll be working towards that. I think I have like 3 more of the puzzles left to do for the last achievement for that. I think I'm missing a few tier 8 delves to get the tier 8 on every delve achievement, and there's other stuff as well that I'm working on. In other news, this past weekend my partner and I watched the Passengers movie. It's pretty good. It's just about these people who are taking a 120-year trip to another planet. They're all in hibernation for this trip, except for one guy played by Chris Pratt. His hibernation pod malfunctions 30 years into this 120-year journey. It's a very interesting concept and one that just filled me with anxiety. The only thing I didn't like about it was the last 15 and 20 minutes. I really did not like the ending, and it kind of ruined the rest of the movie for me. But either way, it was still overall a good movie, just a bad ending. But that is it for my week. Let me know how your week went. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you're excited about, whether it's in WoW, in life, or anything else. Let me know what your thoughts are on the raid. Let me know what your thoughts are on Delves and all the changes that have been going on this week. Whatever you want to talk about, let me know, because I would love to hear it. If you are already subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love you lots. If you're not yet subscribed and you like this video or any of my others, I'd love it if you at least considered subscribing, because I'm trying to get to 100k and every little bit helps. Thanks so much for watching. I will talk at you next week. Have a great week. Love ya. Bye.